for the Falcons. He's standing on his own 41-yard line. Back deep to receive for the Cardinals is number 23, Kevin Foley, and he's going to...
The reason why they put a couple touchdowns on the board was more mistakes, okay, and penalties than it was our poor defense. So if we can play like we did last week defensively, you know, we should be all right.
Menor starts out in the I formation. Their quarterback is number 14, Dan Galovic, and he hands off right up the middle to the fullback. It's number 49, Greg Huss, but he doesn't get much, about 2.5 on the carry. Falcons hold pretty good on that first down play. On the stop there for the Falcons was the middle three, TNT, Ben Burton, Rich the Chalk, and John Polish. So the Menor Cardinals now face a 2nd down and 7, ball resting now on their own 16-yard line. One back behind the quarterback, Galovic. He's going to roll out and throws his first pass of the evening. Good pressure there, but no good in order of putting Galovic down, so the pass is complete. And it's going to pick up maybe 4 on the play, so it's going to bring up 3rd down and 3.5. Number 22 for the Falcons, Rob Topel, was on that coverage.
We did a nice job there too defensively. It's just again, poor execution. You know, we did a nice job containing the play there and just missed the tackle, Kevin. We were there, but we should have been a loss, and they end up with about a yard or 2 gain.
So the Cardinals have a long 2 here for a 1st down, and they're going to have close to the yardage. Going to see where the officials mark the ball, but they may have their first down of this evening. And yes, they do. That'll be a 1st down for the Menor Cardinals. So they're able, with their 3 downs, John, to produce 10 yards. They only gained 3 on each play, or a little more than 3, of course, to gain the 10 yards. But they mounted a nice drive.
Yeah, they got themselves out of a hole here early in the ball game, Kevin, and of course they've got a little bit of momentum now. We've got to stop them now so that they do have to kick. We can get some decent field position.
Menor's now on their own 25-yard line. Galovic hands off to this side. That's number 26, the ball carrier, wingback Ryan Berry. And he's going to be stopped by number 29, Chuck Campbell, and number 53 for the Falcons, Todd Samardzija. Also in on that stop is number 80, Don Hauser. They pick up a 3 on the play, around 2nd down and 7. There's an official timeout on the field. There's going to be an equipment check down there. Now we go to Ken Crano and some messages.
Once again, we'd like to thank so very much for underwriting this game, Mr. Bob Sen and the Sen Photography and Kamara Jewelers. Once again this year they've sponsored these games and some of our basketball games, and we invite other community businesses to join the crowd.
That's number 38 on the carry right there, Jeff Cost. He's right up the middle. He's stopped by the middle 3 again, Burton, Polish, and DeChalk, and he's going to get only about 1 on the play, so it'll bring up 3rd down and long passing situation, and they've shown that they can pass the Menor Cardinals.
Yeah, that was one thing they did last year, Kevin. I think if you recall, you know, they did throw the ball quite well against us. They had a whole lot of trouble trying to move it on the ground, but when they did move the ball, it was through the air.
A lone back behind Galovic. That's Cost in motion. And he's going to roll out to his right, and he has Cost across the middle, but he's going to be stopped quickly. Good play there by the Falcon defense. Defenders in on that stop is number 80, Don Hauser, also emerging from the pile-up is number 73, that's Rich DeChalk. So the Falcons are able to stop the Cardinals here on their first drive.
Yeah, that was a little bit better defense there, Kevin. We did some tackling there. We did a little better job of hitting than we did in those first three plays from the line of scrimmage.
This will be the punt by number 85. Wesson bobbles the ball. He still hasn't got it, and no, he doesn't have it. And Chuck Wesson keeps our blood pressure high there for a couple minutes. He was bobbling the ball, trying to pick it up on the run. But in the end, the Falcons do retain possession, and they'll have to start with their second drive on their own 26-yard line.
It resembled a soccer match there for a while, Kev. He just couldn't quite get the handle on it. threw it for a couple yards, kicked it a couple more yards, and finally, I don't really think it was Wesson that fell on it.
Yeah,
it was Wesson.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen another white jersey coming in there.
Chuck made it a bit scary for us up here in the booth and the rest of the fans here who traveled up to Menor tonight. Fletcher with Jeff Scott this side of the field wide. Wesson in motion, and the handoff's going to be to Connor. He has an opening, and he's able to get good yardage on that carry. I think he'll pick up a first down, about 11 yards on that attempt. So the Falcons open up this drive with a nice long run by Albert Connor.
Yeah, we ran some motion there and ran some kind of a quick trap or counter up the middle, Kevin, and that's probably one of our better offensive plays, I think. You know, whenever we run those misdirections and counter plays, it always seem to execute those quite well, and those do take a lot of timing.
And they're getting a lot of support from that front line up there. Hauser, Polish, Mascola, Galino, Samardzija, and Dorenzo. And that's good blocking on that offensive line by the Falcons. First down and 10. Wesson has an opening, and his speed and ability is getting him out close to another first down. And he'll gain just about 10 yards on the play. So the Falcons now begin the roll.
You know, there's no question the blocking at the point of where they want to break through the line is phenomenal. The guards are pulling, everyone's hitting somebody, and that hole opens up quickly.
It looked like this game was going to turn into a defensive struggle after the first two series, and last year it was just basically that. As I mentioned earlier, the Falcons only lost by 3 points, a lone field goal by the Menor Cardinals. But right now, the Falcons' offense is alive and humming. First down and 10, Falcons still in their own territory, ball on the 49-yard line. Fletcher hands off to Marakovic, and he has an opening, and he's across the 40-yard line in Menor territory, down to the 38. Matt Marakovic was the leading rusher for the Falcons last week in their victory against Cheney.
Yeah, it's a good point, Kenny, because what we're doing now, we're kind of controlling that line of scrimmage, and I think really it was kind of a feeling out process, that first series of downs, and I think now we know pretty much what they're going to try and do defensively, and, you know, we're going to attack that particular setup that they have.
So the Falcons have first down and 10, 3:33 remaining in the first period. Connorth in motion. A penalty flag goes up. Wesson gets a completion from Fletcher, and he's all the way down inside the 20-yard line, all the way to the Menor 15-yard line. But I think the flag will make that null and void here.
Yeah, this was a problem we had in the second half against Cheney. We played, you know, an error-free first half, and all of a sudden the second half we come back and look like, you know, it was the first ball game of the year, and of course now there's a, you know, a big play that's going to be null and void, as you said, Kevin, and we're going to have to go, what, 1st and 15 now.
Yeah, it will be against the Falcons, an illegal motion. That pass right there that produced good yards in that play was the one in which Chuck Wesson first scored last week on a Derek Fletcher 13-yard hookup.
And what we see already, too, is we're starting to go inside, outside. We're throwing the ball, and, you know, as usual, we're a tough team to defense. And we can get things going like we have. You know, we're starting to hurt them in the middle, and you can see they tried to make some adjustments up the gut, and right away we had a nice call on. We went outside with that little flat pass, and I think we'll get things going here. I think we're going to put a score on the board this time.
Falcons have really been able to mix it up last week and right now, and the amount of people who carry the ball. It is surprising. And we have everyone touching the ball, and it's so far this evening the same has been going on. Marakovic, Wesson, and Connorth have been running well, and Fletcher himself has been doing a good job too. First down and 15 now, ball resting on the Cardinals' 44-yard line. Wesson on the counter, he has the opening and he has some speed, and he's going to quickly make up that lost 5 yards plus 10 more, and he's right there, the first down marker.
As we pointed out earlier, that again has been an effective play for us, and you know, that's twice now in this ball game we've picked up big gainers with that little inside counter, and as I said, I still feel kind of confident now because it seems like we are kind of taking charge or control of things up front.
You know, John, what surprises me is that we're really doing a number on their linemen, and yet the linebackers are laying back almost 4 or 5 yards from the line, from the actual line of scrimmage. Most people who defend against us put those men up a little bit in a slot, do a little dealing with them. They're just laying back, waiting for us to pass the line of scrimmage.
And it seems to be the case because the Falcons have been moving the ball and moving it quite well. The officials measured, and the Falcons are shy of first down yards. Now the Menor Cardinals will take a timeout with 3:04 remaining in the first period. That's an interesting call by the Menor Cardinals. Falcons will have second and short to go right after that.
From the fine folks at Kamara Jeweler, we'd like to wish good luck to our football team for the entire season and also to the fans. And a little message from Kamara Jewelers. Art-carved class rings have a very special promotion right now on all their high school class rings. Kamara can make the Austintown Fitch class rings or any rings from our area. And they offer a special savings on the 14-karat gold rings and designer series rings in solarium. Prices start as low as $77.95. So if you would, stop into any of the Kamara Jewelers 3 locations, 64 Boardman Poland Road, 1010 5th Street in Struthers, or just around the corner at Kamara Jewelers at 3675 South Meridian Road in Cornisburg.
Kevin, I think really probably was it's kind of an odd situation, 2nd and 1, but I think they decided, hey, we haven't stopped them the last 3 or 4 times they've run the ball. We better make some kind of an adjustment now, before they put 6 on the board.
See if they can do just that. Fletcher's going to throw the ball. He looks downfield at Tocqueville, but he is not open. And Fletcher's able to keep going. He gets the first down in a good 11 yards more. So now the Falcons are inside the 15-yard line or just at the 15-yard line.
And again, they're showing that balance again. We're inside, we're outside, and it really, when we get things going, it really puts a lot of pressure on the defense because we'll run at you, we'll run those counters or misdirections. We're going to run play action, sprint outs with the quarterback. So, we really attack, all different areas of your defense.
Fletcher did a nice job there reading the coverage. The secondary covered our receiver, Rob Tocqueville, really well, and so Fletcher chose to run, and he picked up good yardage. Handoff now to Connorth. He had the end zone in sight, but he's still about 8 yards shy, so he'll pick up about 6 on the carry, bring up 2nd down and 4.
One thing's going to happen, Kevin. We're either going to get a first down and get inside that 5-yard line, or we're going to score a touchdown. I don't foresee us anyways going 1st and goal to go from that 9-yard line where we always seem to have a lot of problems, as do a lot of other football teams.
Falcons here are really moving the ball well. I just hope that as time progresses here and we get into 3rd and 4th quarters that we don't see a repeat of last week's game, because right now they are showing the finesse that they showed last week. 2nd down and about 3.5. Handoff is to Marakovich, and he stumbles all the way down to the 2-yard line, and it'll bring up a 1st down and goal to go situation for the Falcons.
I think it could be more devastating on the road, Kevin. I think last week, at least we had the majority of those people were our fans back home, and I think they did carry us through that 2nd half. But up here, I think if we get behind like that and play that kind of football, I don't think we have the moral support. I think that might bring us out of a tailspin like that, and it could be, as I said, more devastating up here.
That is a good point. We are on the road, and we are on a far way on the road. We traveled a long time to get here, and I'm sure the players are fatigued. Fletcher hands off to Marakovich, but he stopped at the line of scrimmage quickly, so he's going to get no gain on the play to bring up 2nd down and goal to go. Falcons need 3 yards to put it in for 6.
I think you might see us again go with Derek Fletcher on the outside with the option of running or passing. Kevin, let's see what happens. Have the folks at home there do a little bit of coaching again.
That tactic of Derek Fletcher rolling out was effective for 14 points last week. He had a 13-yard connection, a 4-yard one, and he ran in a 2-point conversion himself on that play. So we'll see if, John, you got the call right now. 2 tight ends for the Falcons. Handoff is to number 34, Connorth. And he crosses the plane of the goal underneath the pile. So Al Connorth puts the first points of the ball game on the board with 45 seconds remaining in the 1st half.
That was going to be the next play, Kevin, if we didn't make it on that one. If we didn't score on that one, we were going to run that, that option pass or run with Derek outside.
So it took the Falcons almost a whole quarter here, but they did put the ball in. Right now, kicking is number 14, Jeff Wilkins. He's back from an injury. Didn't kick last week. His first kick of the season. And it's his first successful kick. He'll put in the extra point. So the Falcons now lead by a score of 7-0 over the Menor Cardinals.
Now that's what you call ball control. Falcons 9 plays to go 73 yards, and in the process of that, they got one penalty that set them back for about 5 yards, and then they came back that way. So actually it was 78 yards to get into that goal. If the Cardinals don't do something to adjust, the Falcons are just going to run them to death.
So Jeff Wilkins will also be kicking off. Matt Marakovich did the chores last week, but Wilkins is back and healthy, and he'll be doing the kicking off for the Falcons here this evening. Deep to receive for the Cardinals, number 38, number 22, and number 25. That is Jeff Kost, Casey Lanke, and Dennis Lauterbach. Wilkins gets a nice high kick. It's going to take the Cardinal back inside his own 5-yard line. He has some room, and he's out to about the 30-yard line. It's number 80, Don Hauser, and on the stop for the Falcons. So the Cardinals will start on their own second possession with 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Hey, good job by the specialty teams again. Last week they performed quite well, with the exception of the one bad punt snap over the punter's head. But again, here we hold them just inside the 30-yard line, but I'm sure, you know, Coach Hartman and the defensive staff is very well pleased with that field position, because you know, they're still pretty deep in their own territory.
What usually happens on the kickoff is you have such a good kick, it takes a while for the coverage to get down there, so they've just about evened it up by stopping them on the 30-yard line. A handoff, and there was a fumble on the play, and the Falcons have recovered, so they get a big break quickly after they score. We'll try to get who recovered that ball. That's number 63, Jeff Galino, inside linebacker.
And let's see what we do offensively here, Kevin. Let's see if Coach Hartman decides to gamble a little bit, maybe go a little play action up top and see if we can get a quick score, or if they're just going to stick with, you know, the ground game that you know, we used so successfully in that last drive.
The Falcons had back-to-back scores last week against Cheney after John Polish intercepted a pass and returned it all the way down to the Cowboys' 3-yard line. So Jeff Galino has a turnover for the Falcons here. He recovers that fumble. The Falcons will start on the Cardinals' 37-yard line. Excuse me, 33-yard line. It's the counter trap to Weston, and he has some opening, and he still goes, but he fumbles the ball. But I think he was able to recover it again, and that's a first down for the Falcons. Chuck Weston having a little trouble tonight holding on to the pigskin.
A little bit of Wesson oil, I guess, tonight, huh, Kevin? His ball's a little bit slippery there for Chuck. And of course, what he's trying to do, you know, he's doing a great job there in the open field, you know, of changing direction. And I think he's trying to change hands too with the football, and I think that's the reason why he's having a problem holding on to it.
After that Wesson remark, John, we might think your last name is Madden, but no, it is John Rourke, and we are here in Menor. Let's turn once again to Ken Crandall, and he'll talk about something that's very important to the Austintown school system and the Austintown community in general, and that's the upcoming Austintown local school tax levy.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fact. The Austintown schools are in very great need of funds. For the first time in 15 years, our school system had to borrow money to meet its financial obligation. The Austintown schools are the finest public education systems in the state of Ohio. We want to keep it that way. What we need is friends of education. We should be a little selfish. Keep in mind that the schools help keep up property values and bring people into our community. We have a fine schools. We don't want anything but the very finest schools. So in November, be a friend of education and vote for the school levy.
Falcons open the second period, starting on the Cardinals' 21-yard line. They're up by 7 points, score of 7-0. Fletcher is the quarterback. Marakovich and Wesson behind him. Handoff is to Marakovich. He fights forward for about 3 hard-fought yards. So that'll bring up third down. Now it's 1st and 10, so it'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
Matt kind of tried to feel his way that time. I think if he'd have just ran like a typical fullback that time, he'd have probably picked up 4 or 5 more yards, Kev, but he thought he could maybe, I guess, break it back to the outside there, and of course Menor did a good job of getting to the football.
once again, we got to give credit where credit's due, and that is the offensive line for the Falcons. They're doing a good job out there tonight of opening the holes for the backs. That's Don Hauser, John Polish, Trent Mascola, Jeff Galeno, Todd Samardzija, Tony Dorenzo, and also Jamie Fitzpatrick is in there. Handoff is to number 34, Connerth, and one hand away from another score for Al Connerth tonight, but he'll be able to get about 15 yards on the carry.
You know, like John said and Kevin said, that offensive line, watch them. In unison, they go off that ball so rapidly. They have the Mentor Cardinals taking that first step backwards every play.
And of course, you can see who's making the majority of tackles for Mentor is their defensive backs. You know, our backs are getting our backs into the secondary, and of course, you know, that only means that they're getting an outstanding or doing an outstanding job up front. You know, those down linemen.
So the Falcons now have first down, goal to go, ball resting on the 7-yard line. Handoff is to Marakovich, but he's stopped quickly at the line of scrimmage. So it'll bring up second down and 7, goal to go.
Well, again, I think we'll get a first down without scoring a touchdown, Kevin. So, you know, we pick up this first down here. You know, we're in pretty decent shape because we'll have about 4 downs again to pick up 5 yards. Of course, it'd be nice just to pick up 6 here and don't have to worry about it, right?
I wonder why the flag man should not have that flag down. That should indicate it has to go to the end zone. He has it down, and it can be a first down before they get into the end zone.
Fletcher rolls out, and there's a flag probably against the offensive line of the Falcons, and he overthrows in the end zone. That's number 35, Jason Cosa, but I think we have a holding call against one of our Falcons, probably one of the guards on their pulling guard blocking assignment. So that's going to take the Falcons back, and then they're going to be faced now with second down and goal to go, but an extra 10 yards tacked onto that.
You're right. I think they called somebody that pulled. It looked like one of the guards, Kevin, got out there and hooked somebody. You know, that I couldn't see the number, and of course we could care less about who it was, but that I think is what the call was, and of course it's a big one at this point in the game. It's going to put us back probably, what, 15 yards?
I'm watching their feet. It seems to be a little slippery there. Our guards pulling out they're almost getting angry with themselves because they're losing their footing, and that's exactly what happened there. One of our guards lost his footing. He couldn't get in front of him, and he reached out and grabbed one of the defenders.
Offensive holding is the call, and the pulling guard is one of the hardest jobs because you do have to make a tough block. You got to make it on the move, and you got to be able to do it cleanly and effectively because the officials are right there watching you, and it's easy to slip up. And that will be a slip up there, which will cost the Falcons 10 yards. So now they are faced with second down and 16 with a goal to go situation. Hand off to Wesson, and he has an opening.
You're right, Kevin. He slipped again. You know, I don't know whether the grass is cut, you know, that low, and you might be getting a little bit of dew or moisture on the ground now, but he had problems there.
So the field conditions are taking their toll here on this drive. Wesson's able to pick up about 5 on the play, so it'll bring up third down, and 11 with a goal to go. Jeff Scott, number 10, the wide out to this side of the field. Lone back is Marakovich. We have all of our receivers now to this side of the field, and that's where Fletcher's going to roll out to. Don't throw, Derek, because you are across the line of scrimmage. And that'll be a face mask call. As you can see there, I wasn't doing play-by-play. I was assisting Derek. I don't think he really could have heard me.
I thought you were coaching there for a minute, Kev. Or maybe a spectator.
Forgot where I was, but that'll be a face mask against the Cardinals. That was an interesting slip up there on my part. But that'll go with, I think, 5 yards and automatic first down.
I thought Kevin was going to throw the ball. Looked like Albert was open right away there in the flat. You know, he was the man that came across in motion, but I think Derek must have been looking down, you know, a little bit deeper in the end zone. Didn't see him right away, and then I think when he did look back, I think you made a good point. Don't throw it now because one out there in the flat, and they pick it off, and we got 6 the other way.
A face mask
It's not automatic, man.
against.
Apparently, it's not automatic first down, Kevin, in high school.
On an intentional face mask now I think was an accidental face mask because it was only 5 yards. An intentional face mask is 15 yards and an automatic first down. So the Falcons do gain some on that. They're now faced with 3rd and 4.
This is where the offense gets a little cheated because they didn't give us the full 10 yards because it's half the distance of the goal.
Jeff's got the wide out far side of the field once again, lone back Marakovic. It looks like we're setting up the rollout pass, and Fletcher is looking for that, and he's going to go himself, and he's over into the end zone for a score. So Derek Fletcher puts it in from 4 yards out with 8:51 remaining in the second period.
As we pointed out last week, you know, we just, with our offense and the type of athlete that Derek is, Kevin and Ken, it's just like having a 4th running back there. You know, he does an excellent job, as we pointed out before, with that ball control type pass, you know, the medium range type pass. But, you know, it sure is nice to have a guy back there, you know, that can run just like your tailback.
I'll tell you, the other thing is that Derek seems to know where he is all the time, too, because he was duking one side and the other, and all of a sudden he got near the line and dove over.
Jeff Wilkins just put another PAT through the uprights, his second of the evening, and the score now stands at the Austintown Fitch Falcons 14, the Menor Cardinals 0.
That's nice to see us overcome some obstacles there. You know, and those obstacles were in the form of penalties that time, and you know, we don't like to see those too often because that's usually what will thwart a drive as much as anything else. You know, you get something going, especially those 15-yard penalties, and it's nice to see. You know, it's the guy again. It's kind of a good football team. You know, we come back and put some points on the board.
We have a message from our other sponsor, the Robertson Studio of Photography. Attention all the 1989 seniors. The yearbook deadlines are approaching quickly, so call Robertson Studio today to schedule your appointment. The numbers are 799-2015 and 793-0732.
Wilkins, the kicker, he has another high one. This one will take number 38 back to the 10-yard line, Jeff Cost. He is pursued there by the Falcons and stopped by number 31. That's Mike Zockel. And also number 87, Matt Starry. So the Cardinals will start their 3rd drive tonight on their own 28-yard line.
That's a very effective kick. You know, he's getting that, which is something you don't really see too often on a high school level. He's getting, you know, the ball pretty high. It's giving our people time to get down there, and again, we stopped him inside the 30-yard line.
At the point after, he almost kicked the ball out of the football field. I mean, all the way out.
So Jeff Wilkins is back from his injury, but he is not hurt by it because he's kicking strong tonight. A screen pass flag in the air. It's going to be against the offense. And now there's a flag after, so we may have a penalty right there against the defense. Matt Marakovic, number 48, on the stop.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kev.
Probably looking at offsetting penalties.
I believe we have a personal foul and either a motion or holding in the backfield for the offense, so it should be offsetting.
So they're both against the Falcons, and the Cardinals will take the personal foul. Well, both penalties were against the Falcons, and the one that'll be assessed as a personal foul because it will cost the Falcons 15 yards.
You don't see the first penalty that much. That's an illegal substitution on the Falcons. Someone came in either too late or didn't check in or something of this sort, and the officials called it. Now, what bothers me about that is the illegal substitution call was made well after the play started. But I don't know how you can tell that man was illegally substituted at that point. It should have been, you know, at the very first snap, the flag should have flown.
Well, nonetheless, the Cardinals now start in Falcon territory, their first encroachment into that territory this evening. Number 33 is the ball carrier. That is Jason Faro, his first carry of the evening, and he'll get 5 yards on the play.
For those that might be a little bit confused, you know, the one was a live ball foul and the other was a dead ball foul, so that is the reason why, you know, they marched off both penalties. You know, something that you don't really see that often.
But if it was was a dead ball foul on them, John. Wouldn't it have stopped the play?
The dead ball foul, Ken, was after I think he was hit out of bounds.
I see. The personal
See,
foul.
the ball was hit.
Ball.
That was a personal. So this is the reason why we got 120 yards of penalty. It seemed that way, didn't it? They marched off about 30 yards there. So we just got to buckle up here, and you know, defense has to stiffen, and of course keep them off the board here.
Well, that was a gain of only 1 on that play, with number 53, Todd Samardzija, on the stop for the Falcons. So the Falcons may be able to recover after that long string of penalties. And once again, it's that same flare-out pass, but it's going to come close to first down yardage. It'll be an official marking to determine exactly if they have it.
And they're just flooding the zone over here. Now they're running some motion and just throwing a little flare pass and really putting some pressure on our corner people, our outside people. We're either going to have to come up or make some other kind of adjustment here defensively to stop them.
That was Samardzija again, and on that stop also number 35, Jason Kosa. So the officials bring the chains out for a measurement. Once again, we go to Ken Carano.
This is an important announcement from the athletic department that the tickets for the game with Cardinal Mooney will go on sale for season ticket holders from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Wednesday at the South Circle ticket office. The general public may purchase tickets from 7 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday and 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday. There will be spectator buses available with a cost of $1 per ticket to get on the bus. So remember, that's Wednesday and Thursday. The tickets go on sale for the Cardinal Mooney game next week at Youngstown State University.
First down and 10 for the Cardinals, lone back behind Galick, the quarterback. He's going to roll out, looking downfield. He has his receiver, but his receiver's going to gain nothing. A good play there. That hit was pretty sweet out there on the field. Let's see who made that.
Is that one of the linebackers, Kev?
I think it was number 80, Don Hauser. Several other Falcons in on that stop. Also number 57, that was Leonard Toto. And also Rich Tachok in on that stop. So that'll bring a pickup of about 1 on the play. Second down and 9. Galick has all his receivers to this side of the field. That's Galovic. And he has number 35 on that reception. That's Jamie Mott, and that's good enough for first down yardage. So we see a renewed Menor Cardinal team.
That's a similar play that we had trouble stopping last year, Kevin. Remember, we mentioned the fact that they did, or were able to throw the ball with some success against us, and you know, they're just flooding a zone out here, and they're picking a seam in there between the inside and outside linebackers, and right now they're having some success with it.
So right now the Cardinals have a first down and 10, ball on Falcons' 25-yard line. Galovic again has number 35, but it's over his reach. Number 22, Rob Topa, on the coverage for the Falcons. Incomplete, second down.
That time, Kevin, we blitzed one of our linebackers. He was just 1 second too slow from stopping the quarterback. It looks like we're going to have to do something of that sort to try to get some penetration to give him a little trouble in the backfield.
So that'll bring up a second down. One wide out to this side of the field. It's going to be Galovic on the keeper. He throws the ball. He had 2 open receivers, but he overthrew him thanks to pressure by number 80, Don Hauser, number 59, Mike Conley, and also number 73, Rich Tachok. Speaking of our defenders out there, I didn't get a chance to read off who's on the field. And we have out on the field right now for defense is tackles Rich Tachok and John Polish, nose Ben Burton. Our inside linebackers are Don Hauser and Matt Marakovich, also number 63, Jeff Galino out there. Outside linebackers, Matt Starry and Todd Samardzija. And the secondary rounds out with Camel, Tofolo, Palak, and Fletcher. There's a complete pass to number 49. That's Greg Huss. And he has good yardage for a first down, and he's inside the 10-yard line of the Falcons.
They had a good call on there because they called a draw, and the linebackers, of course, probably were quarterback conscious because he's been running that little sprint on a rollout. And here they got by him. There was nobody else but the secondary, and they were able to pick up the first down.
Well, the Falcons have been able to put 14 unanswered points on the board, but unlike Cheney last week, who didn't respond, the Cardinals look like they're going to respond right now. A timeout for the Cardinals with 5:09 remaining in the first half.
Another announcement to all our Falcon followers. Don't forget, on Tuesday at 7:30 in the Fitch cafeteria, the Touchdown Club meets. You can come in and see the films of the previous week's games and hear Coach Hartman's comments. Coffee and donuts are also available. The public is welcome. No membership fee is required at all. Just come on in, join in the fun of seeing the game films and listening to Coach Hartman's comments and other refreshments. Now that's every Tuesday at 7:30 in the Fitch cafeteria. A reminder that this is a rebroadcast of the football game, and it's the product of the Austintown Fitch High School television production class in cooperation with the Austintown School Board, the Austintown trustees, and the Armstrong Cable Company.
I think I got my voice back now. 5:09 remaining in the first half. Number 14, Galovic, has two wideouts to this side of the field. He changes the formation. Falcons shift in accordance. There's going to be an illegal motion probably against the Cardinals, and the pass is incomplete. On the coverage there for the Falcons is number 1, Toto Palick, also number 9, Derek Fletcher.
And they're going to stick with that, game plan, I guess, that they have, guys. So, they're just really picking on, the flat area right now. The thing is, you have to be careful. You always say, well, bring some people up, but you do that, and if you got a halfway decent quarterback there, he's going to find somebody behind everybody and get an easy touchdown on you. So, you're kind of in the middle there. It puts a lot of pressure on you defensively, and I'm sure we're trying to do whatever we feel, possible to try and thwart that right now.
It's ironic what the Cardinals being successful with right now is what we're usually successful with, is the rollout pass. And like you said, it's hard for the secondary to cover that. So the Falcons will decline the illegal motion penalty, bring up 2nd down and 10, ball resting on the 11-yard line.
What do you think, John? Should we have declined? I'd like to put you on the spot.
Well, it makes it 2nd and long and 3rd and long, and I don't think it's much different, makes much of a difference either being on the 10 or 15-yard line, Ken. It just takes it down away from him.
Galovic gets good pressure, and the ball is almost picked off there by number 29, I think, Chuck Campbell on the coverage. That was good pressure also by number 53 for the Falcons, Todd Samardzija, and made Galovic release the ball quick, so that'll bring up 3rd down and long, and as you said, John, 3rd down and long now, so that was a good idea to decline the penalty.
Yeah, I agree with him, Ken. I'd have taken it down away from him down there. I think if maybe they'd been down inside the 5, I'd have thought differently, but since we were out around the 10 there, they had to go at least 10 yards. And down here, too, what happens is that old field shrinks. Their most effective plays are passes, so now we're going to give them less room, really to throw the ball and run their patterns.
So 3rd down and 10, ball resting on the Falcons' 11-yard line. Cardinals have all their receivers. A mix-up, that's going to hurt them, but they have a touchdown nonetheless. Well, that was number 85 on that touchdown reception, Joe Trax, and he gets 6 points for the Menor Cardinals with 4:52 remaining in the 2nd period.
And they're doing an excellent job, running their routes there, guys. And really, I give a lot of credit to the quarterback because I know he's got at least 3 and sometimes 4 receivers out there, and it seems like he's picking the open one. And of course, that's the toughest pass route to try and stop is that little 8-10 yarder.
The PAT attempt is blocked, and that's going to end the play there because you can't advance a PAT fumble. The opposing defense can't, so that'll be unsuccessful point after for the Cardinals, so they'll only get 6 points out of the drive, and the Falcons now have an 8-point lead.
I noticed before, if you look at every one of their punts or kicks, they do it quickly. They run up real fast to try to get the defense off guard, and that time it worked against them for that point after. The last on the touchdown play, with all the motion coming to the right, unfortunately for that split second, and once again, this game is a game of split second, the cornerback and the safety took their eyes off the tight end, and he came through and stood in front of him. And I'll tell you what, we lose a lot of height there between that tight end and our defensive halfbacks.
It looked like we had the quarterback stuff there too for a second. That's what happens too. So you relax for a little bit back there, and boom, all of a sudden, somebody comes open, and quarterback, like I said, did a heck of a job and found him open.
Palak fields the kickoff on his own 15-yard line, and he powers forward to the 30, so that's where the Falcons will start. The tight end who made the touchdown reception there, he was the 4th receiver out there. He was basically the backup, and Galovic, the quarterback, did a good job of reading that he was in trouble and that his other 3 receivers were nowhere to be found, so he dumped it off to the tight end, and you can't ask for a more successful dump-off than 6 points.
Yeah, he's been impressive, Kevin. He's done a nice job.
So the Falcons now have to maintain the intensity they did on their 2 scoring drives. And once again, like last week on John Polish's interception, the Jeff Galino fumble recovery has aided the Falcons. Otherwise, it would be a lot closer ball game.
And we've got, what, about 4.5 minutes to go, about 70 yards. And sure would be nice to see us put 6 more on like we did last. We put, what, 2 touchdowns on within less than a minute last week. So I think we ought to be able to get 1 in about 4 here.
That was Wesson on the carry. He picks up about 5 yards, so to bring up 2nd down and 5 with 4:07 remaining in the first half. 4:07 is not a lot in high school football games, so Dave Hartman and his offense squad will have to think about putting the ball up in the air. Wesson picks up about 4, but he'll be shy about half yard of the first down marker.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kevin, because sometimes, you get carried away with college and professional football, and sometimes, in especially professional football, there might be 38 seconds to go, and they're down on their own 15, and they might run 7 or 8 plays off, but they do throw the ball, more often than what most high school teams is, and that's why you can score in a short period of time on that level.
Handoff is to Connerth on the counter, and he gets enough for first down yardage. He's all the way out to the Falcons' 47-yard line, and a pickup of 10.
And what I'd like to see us do here is break one of those 20, 25-yarders and get us down there. Kevin, so we're down again almost to 3 minutes, and if we don't do that, I think it's going to be difficult. I don't think we'll be able to go 5 and 6 yards a crack and get there. We're going to have to get 1 sizable gain in here, I think, if we want to score.
Loading back is Marakovic. Toe fill wide this side. Fletcher's going to put the ball up in the air. And he has over the middle Chuck Wesson, but it's right across his hands. And once